I got it. A little nibble and hook. Yeah, okay. Let me reel that in. Now, this is normally the part of the video that we call the hook. The part that's meant to let you know that you're at the right place and hook you into the content right before showing you the intro to our show, letting you know that you're, well, again, in the right place. But here's the thing. There's one big problem. Our show doesn't have an intro. So in this episode, we're going to solve that. So you might be wondering why an intro matters and whether or not you need one. And to me, the answer is you absolutely do. Now, you can get away without one, but all the biggest, most iconic video podcasts and also TV shows tend to have them. And, well, let's be real, they're incredibly iconic. They let you know what you're watching, and they're actually part of the experience. I mean, actually, forget what I think. Let me roll a couple and see if you recognize them.
Joe Rogan Podcast, check it out.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
I might have dated myself a little bit, but I'm pretty sure you probably recognize at least one or two of those show intros. And here's the truth. Every show, whether it be on TV or on a podcast, has an intro, and some things make them great. It allows them to provide a little bit of context, to get you in the mood, to realize that you're about to dive into the episode, and it just creates a little bit of hype. So how can you make a really great show intro? Well, we'll do that, and then we'll also break down and literally record our show intro for the rest of this video podcast show, the Director Studio Show. So let's dive in. Now, the first thing that makes a really great show intro is, well, weirdly enough, brand guidelines. Now, as unsexy as that might look and feel, the truth is your brand has an image. The logo, the font, the spacing, the sound effects. There's so many different details that make your show iconic, and people recognize these things on a far deeper level than you would imagine. I mean, when you think about Friends and the logo of Friends, do you see the font? Do you see the colors? Do you see some of the elements that go into it? Do you hear the sounds? Do you understand what it looks and feels like and what it's communicating to you subtly? Well, I do. And brand guidelines are an important and impactful way of how you make that happen. Now, let's see what that would look like for Cinemaker. For example, this is the right brand look for Cinemaker. And this is kind of how it feels. And this is the wrong look for Cinemaker. And this is how it doesn't feel. Now, if you're going to make content, not only in the show, but in social media content, using the proper brand guidelines, both in your show, but also in your show intro, is going to be incredibly impactful, because somebody might just see a little clip, a little piece of your show, and recognize where it comes from and who and what that looks like. Now, my second piece of advice for a great show intro is keep it short. I mean, I could say a lot about this, but just keep it short because, well, attention spans are low and you want to move on. You want people to get to the episode. That's why they're there. Number 3 is you'd rather be clear than clever. Now, I believe when you're creating a new show and you have a new personality, somebody who's not necessarily as known, kind of like me and kind of like this show, you want the intro to actually provide a little bit of context. Now, it might sound and look really cool to have lots of different effects and lots of different things, but if the show intro doesn't give a little bit of context about what your show is about, what they're going to see and experience in the show, then maybe it's not quite as good of an intro as a clear one would be. So, clear over clever. Now, ingredient number 4 to a really great show intro is audio. And I'm not just talking about music, but also sound effects. When I think of Gary Vee and some of the iconic sound effects that he has, like this one, or maybe some of these other ones, yeah, these shows stand out. These effects and the audio of the entire intro has a massive impact on people remembering and putting themselves into the context of your show. It's almost part of the settling in while I get cozy on the couch or on my seat while I'm going to watch your show. So don't overlook the importance of audio. And last but not least is your intro memorable? Does it allow me to actually remember and associate certain things with the show? Am I intrigued by the show? Am I brought into the show? And can I remember it just by hearing a song or just by hearing a sound effect? The more memorable the intro, the more memorable the show, and the more likely people are going to remember to come back and watch. So now that we know the core ingredients, now why don't we make our own? So I brought on Kyler, who's the producer of this very podcast and show, to come and help me, and we're just going to have a little bit of a chat around it. So, Kyler, here you are.
What's up? What's up?
Okay, so Kyler and I have worked on some intros before, and one of my favorites is from a show called Mad Money on CNBC. It's a show about investing. It's a show about, trading and Wall Street and a bunch of different stuff. It's news, it's comical, it's interesting, it's got lots of facts and information, but I truly believe that the intro is iconic and really well informative. It lets people know why they're here and why they're watching that show. So before we start and before we dive into some of the scripting and before Kyler and I have a conversation, why don't we play the Mad Money intro?
My mission is simple: to make you money. I'm here to level the playing field for all investors. There's always a bull market somewhere, and I promise to help you find it. Mad Money starts now. Hey, I'm Kramer. Welcome to Mad Money. Welcome to Kramerica. I'll be able to make friends. I'm just trying to make a little money. My job's not just to entertain, but to educate and teach you. So call me at 1-800-743-CNBC or tweet me at Jim Kramer.
Okay, so let's break that down. I truly believe that what he says in the intro, as well as the music and the pacing of it, is, well, again, really well done. You might not like it, but I thought it was pretty clear and pretty informative as to why I, the viewer, would be there. Because at the end of the day, if I subscribe to some of the words that are written in that intro, it works for me. So let's look at that. Now, the opening line to me wins right off the bat. He says, "My mission is simple: to make you money." Now, the way he says it, the tone, and the use of the word you tells me I'm in the right place. Because he's speaking to me, the audience, not to a room of people, even if I'm watching it with a bunch of people, even if I'm in a crowded bus or in a crowded space. I myself am the viewer. I myself have tuned into the show for a very simple reason. Because if I'm watching a show on CNBC about investing, chances are I probably want my investment account to go up, right? I'm there to make money. And so when he tells me my mission is simple: to make you money, I'm here to level the playing field for all investors. There's always a bull market somewhere, and I'm here to promise, and I'm promised to help you find it. Butchered that, but I promise to help you. That is proper. That is a good use of the context creation that an intro can create. Now, he goes on to say, "Hey, I'm Kramer. Welcome to Mad Money. Welcome to Kramerica." Phenomenal branding the entire way through. He is telling me what I'm watching, why I'm watching it, and he's giving me a way to kind of reference him. And he goes on to say, some people want to make friends. I just want to make you money because my job is not just to entertain you, but to educate and teach you. And then so call me or tweet me at Jim Kramer. So he reminds you he's the host. He reminds you why you're there. He reminds you that this is meant to be entertaining, but also informative. And that is super powerful. So yeah, I mean, great intro by my standards. What do you think, Kyler?
I think it's amazing. I think everything you said and what Kramer says, it just speaks to, he knows his audience so well. And so this is the question I have for you, Mark. If I'm starting a show, a podcast, I'm trying to create content, I'm trying to create my intro, how do I figure out how, like, the messaging behind my intro? Because I'm reading this, I'm like, this is gold. But how do I figure that out for myself? Like, if you're going to help me create my show, what would be your advice to that?
Well, I think the best way forward from my personal perspective would be to essentially create something that is genuine to you, okay? Create an intro that you feel personally excited about, but also something that hooks the viewer into understanding why they're watching. And that's the key. Like, there's a couple of things that they have to understand. What is the show about? And then who am I watching? Who are the characters and why do I care? right? So we wrote a little bit of a script. I think we're going to polish it off. I don't think it's perfect, but it's close, okay? We've come together with a little bit of what this could look and feel like. So why don't we switch to that screen and dive into it. So right now, this is my kind of opening line here. My name is Marc Coppola, and I'm a digital storyteller, entrepreneur, and creative who has worked on hundreds of projects and made thousands of pieces of content online for many brands, including my own. But the one thing I have been passionate about for years is helping people like you create great video content. That's why I partnered up with Cinemaker to create the Director Studio Show, a video podcast about the how-tos of creating a multi-camera show for entrepreneurs, podcasters, professionals, trainers, marketing experts, and content creators to help them make the best possible content faster, cheaper, and better than ever before. So, following my own advice here, this opening line is a little bit about me. Maybe we need to add a little something about the show. Like maybe we need to add a little line here. I mean, I think what the show is.
What is our mission? We need to add that mission in there.
Yeah. My mission is simple: to help you tell better stories online.
Now, Mark, a quick question. Could you start with the problem that our audience has and then lead into my mission is to help solve it? Because the reason, like when I think about the Director Studio Show, which is a little bit Inception, right? It's a show about how to create a show and create content for your business or brand or podcast. So would we start with the problem that we're trying to solve? Like in the world, we see so many XYZ people, because you said the who, the why, right? So many people in this world, we see so many people struggle with X, Y, and Z. And so that is why our mission is to A, B, C, D. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think we want to do something similar to this. My mission is simple, but we want to have our own wording to it, right? So what you're pointing out here is, should I lead with the villain or should I lead with the hero? Okay, that's kind of the way I see it. So think about a Batman movie. The best way to think about this is a Batman movie. And a Batman movie follows kind of this principle that we think that the storyline is about the hero. We think that what drives the plot of a Batman movie is Batman, but it's really not true. It's actually the villain, right? Without the Joker or Bane or whatever other, villain exists in Gotham, it's without them, we don't have a need for a hero. We don't have a need to solve this problem. We don't have a need to kind of have Batman step in. There is no story without the villain, essentially. So do we want to lead with the villain or do we want to lead with the solution? I think leading with the solution communicates elements of the villain, but we could do a little bit of both, right? Like I definitely think that we can kind of work this to say, what if we said something like, creating video content is tedious, but our mission or my mission, or our show's mission is to help that make that simple, or something like that. Like that could be a way of going about it where we do a quick villain and a quick hero. Okay, so creating video content can be
only tedious. Most people are the word that came to my mind were flabbergasted, but struggle. It's a real struggle. It's a real pain. It could be if you don't if you're not careful, it could be pricey, time consuming. It can be frustrating, stressful. These are some of the emotions that I felt in creating content, and my clients have felt creating content. So not only tedious and time consuming, but just it could be a burden if not done correctly. And it could be not fun when the reality is when you dial in all the systems and you have the process, it becomes a lot of fun. And then it gets, you start seeing results in it.
So what if we wrote creating a video content could be a pain in the ass? And then we just would blank out the word ass. We would put like a little peach. Our mission is simple. Our mission is to help you make video content. And what if we put in the whole faster, cheaper, and better? Faster, cheaper, and better than ever before. So
it's
then
funny
it
'cause
goes.
one of our ads that we made is kind of similar. I think.
Yeah.
It's like coming back to me.
We did a pain in the ass and we put a little donkey logo, but I actually think we should do a peach logo instead. So my name is Marc Coppola. I'm a digital storyteller, entrepreneur, and creative who has worked on hundreds of projects and made thousands of pieces of content online for many brands, including my own. And then I think that's like a little bit of a break, right? So like we want to figure out the pacing here, including my own. But one thing I have been passionate about for years is helping people like you, right? And then like the you would be kind of, let's say, underlined or kind of highlighted, so to speak. So let me actually get that fully highlighted here.
Now,
people like you
quick
create great
question,
video
Marc.
content. Yeah.
Quick question. So some people may or may not want to talk about themselves. Why don't you tell us the importance of talking about yourself from an authority standpoint, but not too much? Like, I think there's a balancing act, but is there anything you could share for the viewers or people watching this right now? Like, how can you talk about yourself in a way that's going to be impactful?
So I totally get it. Not everyone wants to talk about themselves. Nobody wants to kind of toot their own horn or, pat their own back, so to speak. But there is value in speaking about who you are, particularly if you're the host of the show, when establishing credibility and particularly when doing what I would consider to be help content. Now, our show, the Director Studio Show, is about helping you make better content. That's the whole point. So why are you going to listen to me if you don't understand that I've made lots of content? So the goal here is not to tell you all my accolades that I've been featured in this place or that place, or that I've had this success or this client or whatever it is. I think the key here is more so to communicate that I've racked up a knowledge base, an enormous amount of experience, and that I'm qualified to actually support you. So the key is to communicate a level of credibility, particularly, again, if you're a lesser known character, right? Like, obviously if Will Smith is hosting something, or if, a famous actor or actress is hosting something, then no doubt we don't necessarily need that same intro. We don't necessarily need that same context. But I think a show that's designed to help people in this particular case, it supports that, right? It supports you knowing that I'm one of you, that I'm also a storyteller, that I'm also an entrepreneur, that I'm also a creative, so to speak, right? So let's dive into this. Let's get back to the script here. Let's start at the top. So creating video content can be a pain in the ass. Our mission is to help you make video content faster, cheaper, and better than ever before. My name is Marc Coppola, and I'm a digital storyteller, entrepreneur, and creative who has worked on hundreds of projects and made thousands of pieces of content online. Now, should we add a little credibility piece seen by millions?
100 pieces of content and made 1,000 pieces.
Rather than for many brands, including myself, including my own. Maybe we should say something about views.
I think almost like who's created thousands of pieces of content, who's been viewed by millions or tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands, whatever the number is.
I've made thousands of pieces of content.
Projects for me, projects like viewed by millions. Content, I get projects, but for I think it's just I think you just jump into creative, who has created thousands of pieces of content online, viewed by millions over the world. Yeah, I think that's it.
Worked on who has worked on thousands of pieces of content, or has made thousands of pieces of content. Has made thousands of pieces of content. Yeah, who has made thousands of pieces of content online, viewed by millions all over the world. Maybe for for brands. Do we have to say for brand? Like, well, no, for brands.
Well, our audience are not like our audience are entrepreneurs, podcasters, but like,
well, our audience, yeah. So we get to that, right? We talk about that audience a little bit later. So let's kind of figure that out. But thousands of pieces of content online viewed by millions all over the world. One thing I have been passionate about for years. I've always been passionate about. One thing I've always been passionate about is helping people like you create great video content. That's why I partnered up with Cinemaker to create the Director Studio show, right? Period. That will bring the brand logo into the fold. And then we would go into a video podcast about the how-tos of creating an engaging multi-camera show. An engaging multi-camera show. I don't think so. Of creating a multi-camera show for entrepreneurs, podcasters, professionals, trainers, marketing experts, and content creators to help them make the best possible content. You know, now we have to figure out the rest of this. Creators to
make the best possible content simple. Like, I'm trying to think of one word. Video podcast about the how-tos of creating a multi-camera show for entrepreneurs, podcast professionals, trainers, marketing experts, and content creators to simplify.
To simplify.
This is where I think engaging would work. To create engaging content.
To create
simpler,
engaging content that actually scales. Like, what do we want to? What are we trying to get at on that?
Yeah, it's a good question.
To create engaging content that actually scale. Like, what do people want? Right? So we've identified who should watch this and what it is. We've identified a video podcast about the how-tos of creating multi-camera show for entrepreneurs, podcasters, professionals, trainers, marketing experts, and content creators to create engaging content that actually scales.
What about to make creating content simple? Because that's what it is. Like, Cinemaker, the Director Studio show, simplifies the content creation process. So, and content creators to make creating content simple. It'd be like almost like simple. You know, emphasis on the simple.
Or what about like that is simple, effective, and scalable?
Yeah, that works. I think simple is the important one, but scalable is as well, and effective, of course.
Simple,
creating content simple, effective, and scalable.
And then we would like put those words
on the screen.
Yeah, not the end, but we would put simple, effective, scalable.
Yeah, just those
so let's
words.
try. Let's try from the top real fast. Creating video content can be a pain in the. Yeah, so, you know, hey, by the way, you guys are seeing the behind the scenes of our show, which we're going to get into. We're going to talk about how we do this in our next episode.
This is how we do it. Like,
this is how we do it.
Whether or not the camera is recording, this is what we do. We go back and forth, but this is good.
Yeah. So, let's go from the top. So put me on the main camera only. Let's just I'm going to read it in this particular case, and then we'll talk about how we're going to record it and what that looks like. But I'm going to just read it here, and we'll give you a better feeling for what this is going to feel like. Creating video content can be a pain in the beep, right? Or in the ass. Our mission is to help you make video content faster, cheaper, and better than ever before. My name is Marc Coppola, and I'm a digital storyteller, entrepreneur, and creative who has made thousands of pieces of content online viewed by millions all over the world. But one thing I've always been passionate about is helping people like you create great video content. I feel like I'm using the word content quite a bit.
Yeah, we can interchange content and videos. Yeah, thousands of videos. Yeah, change that.
Yeah, but I say video content there too. My name is Marc. I'm a digital story entrepreneur and creative who has made thousands of pieces of content online viewed by millions all over the world. But
What
one
about
thing
thousands of videos and pieces of content? Thousands of videos viewed by millions all over the world. Meh.
yeah, but one thing I've always been passionate about is helping people like you create great video content. That's why I partnered up with Cinemaker to create the Director Studio Show, a video podcast about the how-tos of creating a multi-camera show for entrepreneurs, podcasters, professionals, trainers, marketing experts, and content creators to make creating content simple, effective, and scalable.
Change the about to about the, or is it a podcast about the how-tos, right?
Video podcast about the how-tos of creating a multi-camera show for entrepreneurs, podcasters, professionals, trainers, marketing experts, and content creators to make creating content. It feels a little weird here.
I think like entrepreneurs, podcasters, professionals, trainers, I feel like we could probably bucket these people into three. Like entrepreneurs, and marketing experts, like I feel like they could fall under the same branch. I think I think it's like entrepreneurs, podcasters, and creators, because trainers are entrepreneurs, marketing experts are entrepreneurs, professionals are entrepreneurs, creators are different than podcasters.
But
Do
they're
you
not all
agree or no?
entrepreneurs. I mean, like some of them, do identify as an entrepreneur if you work in a company and you're making content, or if you're a
Yeah, that's
personal
fair.
trainer, like do you, or you're like an online coach. I mean, an online coach, yes, possibly, right? I could see what you mean by that.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I admit
just
it's
a
a
long
little long.
sentence.
It's a little long, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start one more time at the top. Creating video content can be a pain in the ass. I think that's good because it has like it points out the pain point. It's kind of the villain.
Yeah,
Our mission.
I like it.
So yes. So what about it? So our mission. Is to help you make video content faster, cheaper, and better than ever before. My name is Marc Angelo, and I'm a digital storyteller, entrepreneur, and creative who's made thousands of pieces of content online viewed by millions all over the world. But one thing I have always been passionate about is helping people like you create great video content. That's how I partnered up with Cinemaker to create the Director Studio Show, a video podcast about the how-tos of creating a multi-camera show. A video podcast about creating the how-tos of creating a multi-camera show for entrepreneurs, podcasters, professionals, marketing experts, and content creators. I can remove the word trainers. Yeah, I think we can remove the word trainers. I think that helps it. Entrepreneurs, podcasters, professionals. Maybe I can remove entrepreneurs, podcasters, marketing experts, and content creators.
Like professionals, like professional service people, like is that's what you're going at? Yeah.
I think so.
Even then, I mean, yes, they may not identify as an entrepreneur, but it's such encompassing. Like an entrepreneur is a business owner, and if you're a professional service, you're a business owner, right? And I get if you're maybe expert, maybe instead of saying marketing expert, we could put instead of professional expert, because it's a shorter word and it's almost the same thing. So
yeah, but like experts is like, I just feel like the word marketing experts has like a real impact. Like it just hits a little bit different in the way that, because this product does require, Cinemaker does require some knowledge of why you would be making content to begin with. And I think the type of person who would kind of commission the use of something like Cinemaker and who would watch this show attentively would probably have like a very high vested interest in this. Now, we say this, by the way, leave your comments down below. I mean, we would love to know, what do you identify as? Are you an entrepreneur, a podcaster, a professional, a marketing expert, a trainer? Like, what, you know what I mean? Like you're watching this, you're the type of person, we're making this show for you. We're trying to make it communicate so that you identify with that show. That's the hard part, right? So here's the thing. This is the point. Like, the reason we're showing you this process is because it takes a minute. So anyway, how about this? We're just going to cut to what the actual intro looks like. And I think that's how we're going to end the show. So, yeah, let's roll the tape. Oh, actually, wait a second. I forgot to talk to you about how we're actually going to record it. And before we show you the final intro, the first thing I want to mention is that the way that we write these scripts is important to the way that we're going to record it. And we understand that the intro is going to be very dynamic. Now, Kyler is going to use his amazing skills as a video editor and as, you know, somebody who can use all these motion graphics that can come in, as well as really good B-roll of my space here, the studio, communicating the behind the scenes element of things. Which, by the way, behind the scenes, maybe that should make it the intro. We'll see if it makes it. But the point is that we're going to record it, right? We're going to show elements of the behind the scenes. We're going to show elements of the studio. And I'm going to just read the audio in a couple of different takes so that you can we can mash together the best possible take where the intonation and all the different pieces are together. We're going to match that with a little bit of sound effects. We're going to match that with some B-roll. We're going to match that with an audio track. We're going to end with some kind of iconic piece. Like, all of these things are going to kind of wrap together to make this intro powerful. Now, I'll probably put myself on camera where I say my name is Marc Angelo Coppola, right? I'll probably switch over to this camera over here. We'll have a piece of this intro where I'm on camera saying a little something or getting a little something going. But I think a large portion of the intro is probably going to be very animated. It's going to have a lot of words on the camera or on screen. We're definitely going to want to show certain words that we feel are part of the brand or the essence and the context of the show. So all the intros that you saw, there's a lot of different branding components. People choose to go about it in more creative ways, particularly when they're known people. But in this case, because the show, again, is a help show and you do not necessarily know who I am, this does help. So anyway, let's now roll the tape on the intro, and we hope you like it. And, well, you'll see it in the next episode if you're still around, which actually, hit that subscribe button. So anyway, roll the tape. My name is Marc Angelo Coppola, and I'm a digital storyteller, entrepreneur, and creative who has made thousands of pieces of content online viewed by millions all over the world. But the one thing I have always been passionate about is helping people like you create great video content. That's why I partnered up with Cinemaker to create the Director Studio Show, a video podcast that brings you behind the scenes on the how-tos of creating a multi-camera show for entrepreneurs, creators, podcasters, and marketing experts who dream of creating simple, effective, and scalable video content. So let's dive in.